How many times have you sat at your computer looking at job postings and you're looking and you're looking and you're looking, and then finally you find one that you know is perfect for you. But then when you gaze down at the requirements, what happens is you think, man, this is not going to work. I am way overqualified. They're not going to call me in for an interview, so why bother sending in my resume? Well, in this video, what I want to do is I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to share with you some ideas on what you could do once you're called in. So you send your resume, you get called in. I'm going to tell you what you can do to increase your chance of being successful in that interview. And that, my friends, that's up next right here on Over 50 TV. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. Well, as I said before the break, in this video, I'm going to tell you how to apply for a job when you're overqualified. I'm going to share some tips with you, some suggestions, things that I learned over the course of decades, things I really believe can help you. But before I get into the video, what I want to do is let you know that in the description box, I've got 2 freebies for you. Number 1, I've got a link to my cover letter that hiring managers can't resist. It's a cover letter that I created, and it's a cover letter that I think can help you get past those robots, the applicant tracking system robots that scan your resumes. So use all or part of my cover letter when you send out your resume. Now, I also have a link to a free career aptitude test. That test is courtesy of Career Fitter. If you're someone who is wanting to apply for a job, you're not sure what career direction you want to take, consider taking the career aptitude test. It's 60 questions long, gives you a lot of information. I really believe in career aptitude tests. I know how well they can work. So I've got a link to one. It's courtesy of Career Fitter. It's in the description box. Now, if you want to dive deeper after you take the free test, there is a paid version. It's got lots of bells and whistles. You can use that to find a job, a specific job in your area. So now let's get to our video. Let's talk about how to apply for a job when you're overqualified. As someone who's hired hundreds of people in my career and interviewed at least 10 times that many, well, I can tell you that I wasn't always keen on interviewing someone who I knew, who flat out, I knew they were overqualified for the position. But that doesn't mean I didn't interview those people. And I can tell you from experience, from working with many other hiring managers, many owners of companies, I can tell you they all feel the same way. If somebody comes in, we know they're overqualified, yeah, maybe we're not keen on interviewing them for some of the things that I'm going to share with you, for some of the reasons I'll share with you. But again, it doesn't mean we weren't going to interview them, because after all, we're looking for somebody who's good, somebody who's qualified. Well, in this video, what I want to do is I want to help you to get past the negative assumptions that hiring manager is going to have about you and about your experience. So let's talk about some of those negative assumptions. One of the negative assumptions that I would just immediately start thinking about when that overqualified candidate walked into my office for the interview, is I'd look at them and I think, they're going to be bored. They're going to be bored in this position because they're way overqualified. Maybe I wanted 5 years experience and they come in with 15 or maybe even 20 years, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I don't know why I'm interviewing them. I'm hoping that they'll work out, but yeah, they're going to be bored. Well, the way that you can overcome that negative assumption is this. When you come into the interview, just look at them and be excited about the position. Let them know that you're excited, and also let them know that, yes, you've worked at a couple different companies or a few companies, but this is how long I was there. Stress the length of time that you worked for a company, because that also goes a long way. People who are going to be doing the hiring, people like me who have hired lots of people, as I mentioned. I'm looking at somebody who comes into my office and they're excited for the job. They know what needs to be done. They'll tell me how they're going to do it. And then they also let me know that they have worked for other companies and they've lasted there or been there, were there for quite a while. Another negative assumption, and this is one of the most common negative assumptions that hiring managers will make, when they see somebody who's overqualified, they're thinking, Yeah, this person is going to be expensive. And yes, that is one of the most common assumptions, negative assumptions that hiring managers are going to make. And I'm sure you can understand that. But a way to take that off the table is to just immediately say, when you walk in, find a way, you're creative. You can find a way to say, I know what the salary is, and I am willing to work within your range. Just immediately neutralize that assumption, that objection that they're thinking about in their head. Just neutralize it. Just simply say, hey, I know what the pay range is, and I am willing to work within that pay range. Simple, easy, but get that out in the open and do it as soon as the opportunity presents itself. Another negative assumption that is fairly common in the hiring world, when you're out looking for a position, and let's just say you've been out looking for a long time, well, that hiring manager may think or wonder, what's wrong with this person? Why haven't they been able to find a job? What's taken so long? Maybe they don't know or understand what it's like for an older person who is job hunting, and sometimes, yes, absolutely, it does take us longer to find a position. But they're thinking, what's wrong with this person? Why is it taking them so long? Well, how to flip it, how you can flip it, especially if they ask you, well, why is it? What's going on? What you could say is this: I've been working at a few contract jobs while I was looking for the position that is a good fit for me. And I'm here today because I believe this position, the position that you have open, is the right fit for me. Short and sweet. You just flipped it. You let them know, hey, I've been out there looking, but while I was looking, I was earning money, so I wasn't in any hurry. I wanted to find that right position. Now, another thing that you could also do, and I recommend this if you have this, I would have a letter or two, a letter of reference that you can share with that hiring manager. And hopefully that letter of reference is from someone in management at your previous company, so you can show that I was valued. I was looked at or deemed as an important part, an integral part of this company, and for whatever reason you left, but you have that letter. So now you've let them know, you flipped it. You let them know, I was looking for that perfect position, that right position, the position that fit, and I also have a letter to show you how valued I am. Now, another negative assumption that some hiring managers are going to make, especially if that particular hiring manager is not confident in their ability, is to look at you, the overqualified, overly qualified, older job candidate, as a threat to them, to their job. And it's going to happen. And I can say that some of the comments that I've gotten over the years from people have said, Lou, they looked at me as a threat. And certainly in the real world, yeah, they're looking at you as a threat. So you've got to address it. And here's what I would do. And I would do it because they're never going to tell you that they consider you a threat. But when you walk in and you're sitting in that interview, a few times you can pepper throughout the conversation, throughout the interview, is I know I would enjoy working for you. You're stressing. I know I would enjoy working for you. I know that it would be a great learning experience for me. So now what you're doing is you're letting them know, I'm going to learn from you. I want to learn from you. You're basically the person who is going to teach me, and you will show me what I need to do to be successful here at the company. So to me, the easiest way to get rid of any concern, although you're not going to get rid of it completely if they're not confident in themselves, if that hiring manager is not confident in themselves. But the best way is just to let them know, I'm here, I'm excited, and I want to work for you, and I'm looking forward to learning as much as I can and doing the best job that I can for you. Now, I do want to emphasize something here, and I think it's important. You know that when you are overqualified and you go into a job interview, that there are going to be negative assumptions. That hiring manager is going to look at you, your career, your experience, and they are going to have some negative assumptions that it's your job to overcome. So my suggestion is to practice accordingly. You know what the negative assumptions are going to be. I've just listed 4 of them, and there's going to be more. I'm going to share some tips with you in a few seconds. But practice. Also, another thing that I would do is I'd be strategic in how I let them know that I could benefit them, that my employment at their company is going to benefit them and their company. So practice before you go into the interview. You know already that there are going to be negative assumptions, so just practice the answers. So now let me share with you a few more tips on things that you want to look out for and things that you want to make sure that you don't do. Number 1, when you go into that interview, don't go in there pompous. Don't go in there acting like I'm better than this job. I'm here because I need to work. It's self-defeating when you do that. It's not going to land you the job. It's going to, if anything, hasten your exit out of their office. So don't go in there and act pompous. Another thing is what you think is overqualifications may not be relevant to that particular job, at least not to that hiring manager. They may be hiring you for something that doesn't pertain to your overqualifications or what you perceive to be being overqualified. So don't assume, because now you'd be making the assumption. So don't go in there pompous, and whatever you do, don't go in there and assume that you know the areas that you're overqualified. So how do you respond when that hiring manager, if that hiring manager looks at you and says, you are overqualified? Well, my suggestion is this. Number 1 is I'd be humble. I would be humble and I would just look at them and say, well, I know I have more experience than you are looking for in this position, but I'm excited about working here at your company. I'm excited about the role that I would play, and I know I would do the best that I'm capable of doing. That's all you got to say. And chances are they're going to look at you and they're going to think, that's all I need to hear. Now, I do want to give you another tip, and this is something I think you would do at any position you go to. At least you should be doing, no matter whether or not you're qualified or overqualified or underqualified. Always research the company. Know what their products are, know what their services are, know who their competitors are, know everything that you can or learn everything that you can about that business. It just shows, it really does show that you're serious about that particular job. So even if you're overqualified for the position, learn everything you can. As a matter of fact, if you're overqualified, it tells me you've got a lot of experience, and your experience should tell you that you've got to study that company. Now, one last thing that I want to be sure that I mention to you. If you are not given a job offer, don't be discouraged. Don't take it personally. Quite frankly, you have no idea, unless you did something that was obviously wrong in the interview, but you've got no idea why you weren't hired. Chances are somebody else was more qualified, somebody else was a better fit, so they went in that direction. So don't be discouraged. I'm not even going to suggest that you should try not to be. Just don't be discouraged. Move on to the next interview. In sales, it's something that I learned a long time ago. I might have gone into 5 or 10 clients, and I was lucky sometimes if I came out with 2 or 3 sales. But I knew I wasn't going to hit a home run every time. But I knew eventually I would. And I tell you this, you will hit a home run. Just please review what I've given you so far today. Look at this video a couple different times. Maybe you might even want to share it. But don't take it personally if you're not offered the job. Well, my friends, that is all I have for you here today. I really hope this video was helpful. I got to say I did enjoy doing my research. I enjoyed producing this video because I know that many of us out there, when we're applying for a job, especially as we get older, we may be overqualified. And if we're overqualified, we've got to be able to handle those negative assumptions, any, as I said, objections that we might wanna or we might not want to hear. So I hope the video was helpful. If you have any questions, as I always say, please go ahead, make a comment, send me an email. Couple more things. I do have my free 5-sentence cover letter that hiring managers can't resist. There's a link to it in the description box. There's also a link to a free career aptitude test courtesy of Career Fitter. I highly recommend their aptitude test. It should help steer you to a career that better fits your skills and your experience and your personality. Well, again, that's all I've got for you. Other than this, I want to say, have a great day, everybody.